What's up, y'all? This is Alex from the Rim Review. The Rim Review is a page that offers in-depth player analysis and gives nuance to the way you watch basketball. In the coming weeks, we are going to be looking over every single prospect that is declared for the NBA draft. In today's episode, we're going to look at the 6'9 center from Marquette, Oso Igodaro. When looking at Igodaro's game offensively, a couple of strengths stand out. The first of which is the fact that Igodaro has touch with both hands in the post. He's able to go over his left and right shoulder, and that's a big reason why he's in the 75th percentile in post possessions in college basketball. That's even more impressive when you consider his lack of height. Secondly, he is an electric passer. With a 1.74 assist to turnover ratio, Igodaro is able to make skip passes out of the post, run the offense in delay, and just do everything a team needs when it comes to passing from the center position. Finally, Igodaro is really good in making reads in dribble handoff situations. He knows when he needs to keep. Marquette ran a lot of delay, like zoom actions, which is basically when the center has the ball at the top of the key, and then there'll be potential dribble handoff opportunities. And in these plays, Igodaro consistently made the right decision and was able to make reads and decide when he needs to keep or when he needs to hand it off. This flexibility is huge. There are still some pretty big weaknesses to Igodaro's game offensively. The first of which is that he's a non-shooter. He didn't make a single three last season, and I think it's going to take a lot of work for that to change. His free throw percentage is not good, yet some scouts do have some belief in his ability to at least develop a little bit of a mid-range game because he does have some really nice touch and does really well on like 7 to 8 foot floaters. Secondly, on the few possessions where he was in isolation, he very clearly settled. This was really bad because once again, he's not a shooter. Finally, I think he could be stronger, and that would allow him to absorb more contact and be a better finisher around the rim. Now, let's get into the film and watch Oso Igodaro play. On this possession, Igodaro gets the rebound and showcases a nice ability to handle the ball and go coast to coast. Really impressive, especially for a center. However, this play is even more impressive. Igodaro pushes with pace while looking and being alert and kicking to the corner. You don't see that kind of facilitating from a center every day. On this possession, it's another great instance of Igodaro pushing, and then right here, boom. I don't know, is this Magic Johnson or Oso Igodaro? Obviously not that good, but still smooth passing. On this possession, he once again attempts to go coast to coast. However, there are a couple issues. Firstly, he's kind of sliding and not fully having his balance. Secondly, I think he has this kick to the corner right here, and he's just off balance and really uncomfortable and under pressure. Right here, he's once again going to go coast to coast, push. However, I don't like him settling for this floater right here. I'd like to see him maybe get into Donovan Clingan a bit more, make him make a decision, because that is not always a winning shot. Now, let's watch Oso Igodaro in delay. For those of you who don't know, delay just happened right here. When Tyler Kolek passes the ball to Oso, that is a delay set. So anytime the big catches the ball up the top of the key, it's delay. So this would be known as delay zoom, because Mitchell is setting a screen for Cam Jones right here, where Igodaro could hand it off, and then that would be a zoom action. Igodaro makes a really nice read, keeping, and then he's able to clip the Georgetown defender, which allows Cam Jones to curl and have an easy finish. On this possession, Igodaro is once again going to run a delay series and just makes a smooth pass to a backdoor. Because Igodaro sets such strong dribble handoffs, the defense right here is almost cheating and expecting it. As you see, number 4 takes his first 2 steps here without looking at his man, and it sets up a cut, and Igodaro is a great passer. Now let's watch him in another dribble handoff situation. On this play, Igodaro doesn't catch the ball in delay, but instead is catching it what is set up to be an empty handoff. What I mean by empty is no one's over here. Igodaro recognizes that the defenders are kind of expecting the handoff, so he decides to keep it, rip through, and yeah, you just saw that. On this possession, Igodaro is going to try to post up, but he doesn't have anything, so he passes it out. And then right here, he's coming into what most people would think would be a DHO. Cam Jones is running with pace, and UCLA probably thinks he's coming in for a shot. Maybe you throw in a flare screen here or do something. However, Igodaro is a one-man show here, keeps it, and just puts him on SportsCenter. Let's watch that again at full speed because it's really impressive. The read is to hand it off, but you don't have to. Ooh, just go to work. On this possession, Igodaro is once again going to set a dribble handoff. He clips his man, and what I like seeing here is he gets his butt out on there to set the screen. Yeah, that maybe is a foul, but no one ever calls it. He extends him right there, and then he's going up against drop coverage, which is when this guy right here is basically playing low. This guy's responsibility is to keep Oso in front of him. So Oso's responsibility is to get past him. And once he does, boom, boom. Great stuff. On this possession, Oso Igodaro is once again going to have an empty dribble handoff because no one's over here. However, he decides to keep it once again, face up with his man, and then flow into what could be another dribble handoff. He recognizes that this defender is looking here. He is occupied with this cutter. And so he says, all right, call me Jokic. Boom. His passing is just different. On this possession, Oso Igodaro is going to have what is known as a DAO. And what I mean by a DAO is right here, Igodaro is in the post. He's going to dribble up and then turn it into a handoff. This is what Boris Diaw did all the time. As you see, he comes up, gets the late pocket, and that's the kind of touch shot that makes scouts feel a little more comfortable with his potential to shoot somewhat. Now, let's watch Oso Igodaro in the pick and roll. In this possession right here, Igodaro is going to come up and set a screen. The one thing I don't love about this is I'd like to see Igodaro run harder to set the screen. It's kind of a small critique, but I'd like to see him not jog. Despite this, he makes contact, opens up, and has a nice pocket finish. On this possession, Oso Igodaro brings the ball up the court and then looks to find someone to give the ball to. Right here, he passes back out to Tyler Kolek, opens up, and catches a nice pocket for his zone, which is that touch shot. While he does love this touch shot, it's still somewhat not the best shot. It's a little inefficient, and a lot of times you'll see things like that. At the end of the day, taking non-rim twos is just not a winning strategy in the modern NBA. On this clip, Igodaro does a really awesome job getting out early. What I mean by that is right here, he recognizes that he already has the advantage because the defender is kind of playing behind the ball handler. And so he doesn't need to set the screen, and so he can just get out like he does here, and then boom, it's a dunk. Let's watch this at full speed just to get an idea. About to set it, slips, ooh, go to work. On this possession, Igodaro is going to set a drag screen, which is known as a screen that occurs in transition. Right here, he makes contact with Mark Armstrong, gets out, and just makes a nice dunk. He's also a very good passer in the pick and roll, where he catches it here and kicks out. He's very much a connecting piece. On this play, Igodaro is going to be involved in what is known as a Spain pick and roll action. For those of you who don't know, Spain pick and roll is just this screen is set here, and then this screen is set for Igodaro, who will lob and just make an easy dunk. This clip is another Spain clip. Igodaro comes off it hard and has a great lob dunk. Now, let's watch Oso Igodaro in isolation. At times, Igodaro will bring the ball up, and as you see right here, he dribbles right into a post-up where he finishes over the left shoulder. Unfortunately for Igodaro, more of his isolation plays look like this. Igodaro gets the ball at the top of the key, sizes up his man. I love the change of pace, but he just didn't have the touch here. So great change of pace, but not a great finish. What I would like to see for Igodaro here is to potentially jump off of 2 rather than 1. And if you do that, you'd get your balance and be able to have a more controlled finish. On this possession, Igodaro is once again going to be in isolation. He flashes up here, gets the ball, and then changes direction. But here, he did once again another early pickup point. As soon as he feels the contact, he picks the ball up. You can't be picking the basketball up here. You got to take another dribble. And instead, it looks like, honestly, just not a good shot. On this possession, Igodaro is going to settle in isolation. As you see, people really gap off of him. And he takes this shot, which is just not a winning shot, a lightly contested 9-footer. I know he likes that spot, but it's not great. But once again, you're seeing the lack of spacing he provides, which sucks because he's just not that tall. So you would like to hope he was a better shooter. In this exact same game, it's another instance of him settling just a few minutes later. Igodaro dribbles in and takes a free throw line floater, and it's just not great. Now, let's move on and watch him in the post, where he's very talented. Igodaro is hunting for the post here, gets the ball, and finishes over the left shoulder through contact. On this possession, Igodaro showcases his touch with both hands as he sets a screen getting into the post. Not the best at hunting for the post here. I don't like how high he caught it. I'd like him to have a more aggressive duck in, but it's not the end of the world. As he posts up his man here, he spins the other way and uses his left hand to score. On this clip, it's another ball screen getting into the post. Igodaro is posting up, faces up his man, and then has the left hand touch doesn't get in, but I liked it. It looked good. I liked that he played off of 2, which is good. I think it looks nice. It just didn't go in, and that is what it is. On this clip, Oso Igodaro is going to showcase another move that he has. He's going to back down his man into the post and then have a drop step play right here. Ooh, go to work. Great stuff. On this clip, Igodaro is once again looking to post up. Against Donovan Clingan, however, one of the stronger and more physical bigs in the NBA, or will be in the NBA, Igodaro just seems to be bothered. This is once again why I mentioned the lack of pure strength and physicality from him. Let's end off offensively watching a really great wraparound pass from Oso Igodaro. Right here, he's at the top of the key, dribbles into the post, and then once again, ooh, go to work. Great stuff. Now, let's move on to Oso Igodaro defensively, where he has numerous strengths. The first of which is the fact that Igodaro is used to playing in a variety of different pick and roll coverages, whether it's a hard hedge, a straight up double, a switch, or a soft hedge. Igodaro has done a lot. He hasn't done as much drop coverage because of his lack of height, and so that could be concerning, but I think that his ability in those other coverages is really promising. Secondly, Igodaro is a pretty smart player, and there are multiple instances of him clearly knowing the personnel when he made a read. Finally, I think he's shown flashes of solid driving line defense. There are times where he gets beat, but these flashes are extremely promising. When it comes to his weaknesses defensively, the number one weakness is simply the fact that he is undersized. At 6'9", being a center is really tough. I do think that he actually provided somewhat decent rim protection at Marquette, however many scouts question if that would translate to the pros. Secondly, I think he is still inconsistent when he switches onto guards. While I like his switchability, I would like it to be just a touch better. Now, let's move on to the defensive film of Oso Igodaro. While Igodaro is not an elite rim protector, he has shown flashes of being able to block shots in college. On this play, he runs hard in transition and gets that shit out of here. Right here, it's another play where he shows effort, getting back in transition, staying in front of his man, and blocking shots. This, in my opinion, is my favorite rim protection play of him because he makes multiple efforts. Right here, he's going to fully commit to the guard right over here. So Igodaro, now 2 guys are here, and no one is on Igodaro's man. This dump off pass happens, but Igodaro is able to recover and block the shot. This clip is another instance where Igodaro is able to play bigger than his size and get a block. Igodaro comes over and has great instincts and blocks the shot. Really great stuff. Now, let's move on and watch his driving line defense. On this clip, Igodaro fights over the screen, stays in front of his man, and is able to defend without fouling. It's nothing uniquely special, but I enjoyed watching it. Right here, Igodaro's in another driving line situation. He goes under this ball screen, stays in front of his man even more, and has active hands. Great stuff. Right here, it's in my opinion the best driving line situation of him, where he's able to defend a guard. Igodaro's in the gaps, gets back, and then slides his feet for really multiple seconds and competes and clips the ball. Great stuff. On this possession, Igodaro once again is in a driving line situation. However, against an NBA level talent in KJ Simpson, he's beat. On this clip, it's another instance where Igodaro is beat simply because he's not the most consistent at it. I think he's pretty good and it's solid and it's great for a center, but it's not amazing for someone who's 6'9". Right here, he's being a little overly aggressive, expecting this dribble handoff, and it leads to a spin and score. Now, let's watch him in a variety of different pick and roll coverages. Right here, Igodaro is going to switch, and now he's guarding a guard. He stays in front of him, and it leads to a turnover, or whatever that shot was, which is the equivalent of a turnover. On this clip, Igodaro does an awesome job being in a really good aggressive hedge, and we'll see right here. He comes up, meets his guy, comes really high, and swipes the ball out. Really great stuff. On this clip, it's another hedge from Igodaro. Igodaro is right here, coming up, meets his man, and goes for a steal. Those are the types of hedges that are really great to see. Right here, Igodaro is going to be involved in a softer hedge, right here, where he's not fully committing, but he is providing some resistance. And then as soon as he's ready, he hustles back, recovers, and remains vertical to block this shot. On this clip, it's a great instance of KYP, which is knowing your personnel, from Oso Igodaro. Right here, Igodaro is fronting or behind the center, guarding the post, but he knows that this man is not the best shooter, doesn't run him off the line, and it leads to a brick. On this possession, Igodaro does a really great job being active and aware off ball. As you can see here, Igodaro is playing 2, he's in the gaps, and has the potential to close out to him or him. Igodaro is watching the ball, and then comes over and uses his length to get a steal. On this last clip, it's Igodaro in a closeout situation where it's not amazing. As this pass occurs right here, what I hate to see from Igodaro is the fact that he's a little late getting out, and when he does, he opens up and it leads to a make. Overall, I really enjoy Oso Igodaro's game. I think he has the potential to be a center that can be a connecting piece and really elevate any offense. While he's not the best shooter, his ability to make decisions and be a great passer puts him as one of the premier bigs in this draft class. I understand that really it's not sexy or exciting to be a great passer, but some of the reads that Igodaro is able to make are amazing. Secondly, Igodaro often operated in delay series, which we mentioned earlier, and delay is becoming more and more of the trend and the norm in the NBA. When it comes to him defensively, I think that he's pretty good. It's disappointing that I haven't seen more of him in drop, because that's the kind of go-to NBA regular season coverage. And I also wish that I could have seen him be a little bit better versus switches, but he's shown flashes of being really good, so I'm not going to hold that against him. When it comes to what's hurting Igodaro, the two biggest things are shooting and size. If you can't shoot and you're short, it's going to be harder to be a successful player in the NBA. Despite that, I still think it's worth taking a flyer on him in the late first or early second of this draft, probably anywhere from the range of 28th to 37th. When projecting what his career could look like, I think he has the option to be a true connecting center that can fit in the starting lineup and almost be like a role-playing center. I don't think that he would ever play more than like 26 or 27 minutes a game, because I do think if you're going to go with a smaller ball center, you need to have that change of pace lineup with a more big physical player coming off the bench. I think what's more likely for Igodaro is a world in which he's the change of pace guy off the bench, getting like 16 or 17 minutes a game, that is going to be able to provide great passing and help you get into your offense. When I look at his floor, I think maybe he struggles to change his reads to NBA offenses. For example, I didn't see him make many reads in pistol, which is another really common NBA set. So maybe he struggles with those reads, but I'd be surprised. But I also think his number one weakness is just if his height and shooting keeps him off the floor and he never gets an opportunity to show the good stuff. Overall, thanks for watching, and I'll be back at it again tomorrow with another episode of The Rim Review.